Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another glorious Company One Heroes Recasting out. And in this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to Zeke bust at your maximum potential as a Zeke Hailer, all the way from just, fatherland. Yeah! Alright, now I did have a different video originally planned, but my friends told me it was a bit too ranty. They did have a good laugh, but they said the best moments of the video was when they were learning how to play the game, so that's what I'll be focusing on. What is my build going to be against the British terror from across the sea? It's going to be 3 engineers and 3 grenadiers. Now you're wondering to yourself, why? Engineers are in an ineffective combat unit. That is a lie. They are incredibly cheap at 125 manpower, and it guarantees me in the early game capping speed plus sandbag covered building potential. What do I like to call this? Prepping the map. We're prepping the map for future engagements. This could be mines, this could be green cover like I'm doing right now, because when the green cover sets in, you are guaranteed to win the engagements as a grenadier player. Now, if you're going up against the Brits, Grenadiers bully Brits at close to medium range. So if you keep your Grenadiers at medium range, you're basically guaranteed success with the Engineers in combination. Now the boring stuff's getting out of the way as the Engineers building. I'm sorry, my first Grenadiers building. Let's go ahead and show you my opponent. He was not new to the game whatsoever. He might have taken a bit of a break, but this man knows how to play Company of Heroes with 2,331 matches in the 1v1s. And he used to be rank 44 Wehrmacht, rank 30 USF, rank 18 Deutsche Afrika Corps, and rank 31 Brits. That's what he used to be. That means he's a roughly 1600 ELO player. You can check for yourself. But what fascinates me when I fought him at the time is he was ranked 217 Brits. He has gone down. So it kind of confuses me that I was asking myself, is he learning how to play the game? Is he trying to refigure it out? But he is a solid player according to the stats. He knows how to play the game. I was just kind of confused on why he was having a bit of a rough time. But then I remembered it's been very painful to play allies, but I will make that I will let you make that decision for yourself. Now, first engagement, I went ahead and get some deadly bleed damage into him, and you're going, well, that's a small chunk. No big deal, right? Absolutely not. In the early game, and with the recent updates, I've been noticing that, hey, if you take any kind of model bleed damage or model drops, you suffer. Manpower conservation is the key, and I will show you how that stacks as you play smarter, not harder. Now, he's focusing my engineers. I should have been more behind the green cover, but I'm going to move the grenadiers in as bait, let him focus that, and then bring the engineers to sweep across and Z-bust and close the distance. Now, he's lost his engagement. He wisely retreats, but I got what I wanted out of this heavy model bleed damage. No model bleeds really on me whatsoever, except, my engineer squad, but that doesn't matter. They're so cheap. This guy is good in every sense of the word, but he's struggling, and I will let you make the decision for yourself. I will try to keep the Axis OP jokes at a bare minimum so you don't feel nauseated, but this is ridiculous, folks. It is ridiculous. So what am I doing right now? Grenadiers are being a bit of a bodyguard, giving me some spotting, heads up early information, while the engineers, again, prep the map for future engagements, and allowing me to just, snowball effect him basically into his base in the early game. And again, I have more capping potential, even though our army value is roughly the same. It's just, I feel it is unfair. With Brits, you're typically going up against either 1 Vickers machine gun, 3 infantry squad sections, or just 4 infantry sections and, 1 engineer that they start out with, or 2 engineers and 3 infantry sections is what I've been noticing. Middle of the map, I'm going to go ahead and get behind green cover. Again, grenadiers and green cover is amazing. You're taking, you might be saying, I'm taking a gangbang from 2 different shots. No, I have my 3rd Grenadier squad onto the field that I've been keeping in the background, and I'm moving in for a deadly flank. Again, medium range, green cover, solid engagement for me with an engineer squad in support, and we're going to win this no matter what. I'm being idle. It's been about 5 months since I played Company of Heroes 3, and 5 months since I've played Axis. I've been playing allies, both Brits and USF, and it has not been particularly fun. But I said, you know what, let's get one Axis match in for shits and giggles at 11 o'clock at night before college is in 8 hours. And I was like, alright, let's get it going. I do take some heavy model bleeds from the Flamethrower squad. We're going to back that out. And I noticed he's closing the gap, trying to get a decap right here. But, again, being cautious. Engineers capping the center of the map. So what I'm going to do, I like to call it stutter stepping. You're going to go take a pot shot, back off from the Flamethrower squad, max range with the Grenadiers. And again, boom, there it is, stutter step. So what does that mean? Model bleeds, model damage, and that's exactly what we want. Or you can get some green cover, and there it is, model drop. Now, pay attention to this. Even though 2 units are behind green cover, 1 unit is slightly out, and this does affect a lot of engagements because that 1 unit slightly out of cover is not getting any protection. Grenadiers moving in, I force the engineers back. What I'm going to do, bring the infantry section. Bring the Grenadiers in medium cover on the infantry section, and you're basically guaranteed to win or stall up the engagement as long as possible. And we're not really suffering anything whatsoever. Another issue that I have, Axis medical station is Very unfair. For 200 manpower, no fuel cost, I can go ahead and invest, or I can go ahead and invest in a 175 manpower bunker and 70 munis, and I get a better return on my healing. Right to the map, I'm again dominating. I'm in his base at 5 minutes. Our KD ratios are roughly the same. I have more map power and presence on the map versus him. Now, this is what I'm talking about, that Grenadiers can be extremely unfair. I'm going to go ahead and let him focus my Engineers, get it down to one model, and then I'm going to pop the merge ability. And this 125 manpower unit is going to go ahead and beat a 260 manpower British squad. I don't think that's fair, but hey, I closed the gap. And merge comes in clutch. I should have been utilizing it more, but again, I'm rusty with this faction. As I learn more and I start to understand this faction more, I'm probably going to get away with more bullshit in the future. There's my medical bunker popping. So why do we want to go ahead and not invest into the medical station? You get a return on your investment, roughly 25 manpower per model picked up, because they'll send medics out into the field. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's slightly cheaper if you want to argue that. Almost lost a squad. You know, he could have focused me down. It could have been a 50-50. But yeah, you get more of a return, and on top of that, I didn't have to invest in the infantry officer quarters. I see a lot of players go, you have to invest in it, it's a necessary thing, it delays your tech up. Absolutely not. I let these Grenadiers get their veterancy on their own because they're not a terrible unit like everybody tells me. I'm slightly down in the KD ratio, but I have more map control compared to my opponent. I am hurting him no matter what, and once I get this cutoff point established, or reestablished, I'm getting all these resources across the map. Middle of the map, I do hit a mine, no big deal, because unfortunately mines are just not that effective in company of zeros 3. Oh boy, max range of the Grenadiers. I'm going to force him off. Again, getting the reconnections going. He will get the cutoff point, but no big deal. I still have the majority of the map right here that I'm, you know, receiving the resources from. On top of that, he's just in a bad place. He's trying to force me out of these engagements, close the distance, but Grenadiers do great in medium to close range, so his Brits suffer as he closes the gap, and I have Engineers and support. Oh yeah, Z-busing. So, my rust again is showing. I do tech in the Luftwaffe. I should have tech sooner, and I should have got this 221 even sooner on top of that. You know, you're looking at a 6-minute 221 if possible, because the 221 bullies units. It forces him to tech into a voice anti-tank rifle, and in my personal opinion, the 221 is not fair to fight against. It is a wiping machine. We will get 2 squad wipes with it in the future, and I'm going to show you the heavy amount of bleed damage it can do. So, he's focusing on my Engineers. I bring a Grenadier over, Veterancy 1. You know, it gets a little bit more of an accuracy bonus. Oh, sorry, 10% harder to hit at Veterancy 1. Veterancy 2, 25% weapon accuracy. And I've won this engagement. Force him back, get the sensor of fuel while he's decapping that fuel, but I'm still getting the resources from it as that's going. And yeah, just feeling comfortable. 221 onto the field. I like to call it the Ziegmo build. Volkswagen Initiative. Yeah, baby. I'm being rusty. These guys should have been moving and getting more decaps. And there it is. But yeah, watch my Zieg busing mobile. You know, this is better than a cloud car. This is a guaranteed wiping machine. Now, I noticed him. I was going to close the gap. I said, hey, we don't know if a vehicle's popping onto the field. I'm going to go ahead and back off. So, what I did not bring up, I noticed that his units are full health. That tells me that he's delayed his Humber or Stort, which is allowing my 221 to bully him even more. I noticed that Veterancy 1 popped up. And based on these early game engagements, he was not doing well. So that, again, that delays his Humber or Stort and allows my 221 to bully him! Engineers in a bad situation, so I'll back him out. But I'm getting those maximum range on the 221 model bleeds. This thing is a deadly machine if it gets up close, but it's still just as deadly further out, getting the model drops. Left side of the map, I thought I was going to win, but Brits do great at maximum range. So even though I did put heavy damage onto him, he is holding the line. Grenadiers middle of the map. I'm going to dodge a dirty little nade for him, no big deal. And I will back off because the flamethrower is burning my ass. And eventually I will start getting dirty mines down. If you're not planting mines as a Wehrmacht player, you're in the wrong. People say Wehrmacht is very hard to play. No. I disagree with that statement. Do take an artillery shot that tells me he takes in a Lancian air battle group, so this is not a good battle group. He's doing that because he thinks I'm going to have tanks or Whirlwind soon, and, you know, you can have some anti-tank options with that. But yeah, I just don't think Wehrmacht is struggling. I saw AECO just post, if you've seen the thumbnail in the video, he said that USFOP, and I'm like, okay, so we're just going to leave out the fact that Brits are just suffering, and the only faction that allies can play is that is viable is USF, because Brits are very unfun to play, right? It just, I just disagree with that. AECOH, if you see this video, man, I do have, I had high respect for you, but I just feel like you're missing the point. I don't know why you want to transfer this game into Company of Heroes 2, where Axis is a very dominant faction there. I just disagree. I disagree. If we could talk about it, that's awesome, but I just feel like you refuse to see these power plays that I can make. Like right now, I'm moving these two squads in tandem so I can win in the close range and I can win in the long range, and I can go ahead and merge the squad into each other, and I'm popping flamethrowers because I'm floating so much munis. Like another thing that I hate about the game, why is there so many buildings? I don't like playing, City Simulator where I have to force everybody out of a building and it's house to house, right? It's fun in a multiplayer game, with, FPS, but RTS-wise, it just feels kind of tedious. So, Jaeger's out into the field. I'm going to go ahead and bully him. Just A-move your Jaegers. A-move your Jaegers to Z victory. A-move, 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 A-move. And yeah, look at that, look at that damage. If the units are behind cover, you can also do 25% accuracy versus units in cover. 2-2-1 moving in. So with the 2-2-1, we want to guarantee those model drops. We want to get in as much as possible in his face, keeping it well supported because there could be a store out into the field at this point. I was like, at 10 minutes, there has to be some kind of armor heading my way. Engineers burning him. I'm trying to get as much damage as I can, or health damage, delaying his units coming out into the field. Jaeger's moving up, an effective combat unit. I should have merged into him, but I argue that there's only 4 models left, so maybe not a big deal. I should have gotten behind the green cover. Again, my rush showing. So, Stork comes out. Boom. Instant snare. Hit him with the Grenadier squad. And I'm going to go ahead and back off. I risk it for the biscuit, try to get the decap delay any more armor coming into the field, but I could have lost this unit. So, the telltale sign of a good player is his hesitation. He could have thought that there was mine here. He thought maybe I have a martyr out into the field, and which I am teching into right now. My rust is showing. Or there could be an additional snare squad, hurting him even more and putting him in a situation where maybe I have an AT gun on the field. But I'm going to do what I like to call fake it till I make it. I'm going to pretend that I do have an AT gun option onto the field, moving my Grenadiers over for a snare, and again, keeping it well supported. So I back off, I go, hey, I don't want any more model bleeds, he's done the damage, keeping the 2-2-1 in base. I don't want to lose this guy because he's in a very effective combat unit and we will get more utilization out of him. On the right side of the map, his engineers are closing in. I'm going to do the stutter step once again. Now, I'm on the high ground, I'm shooting down into him, he's in a bad situation, I'm bleeding him heavily. I should have backed off even more, and there it is, backing off. I will try to take an additional pot shot into him. Boom, he backs off, I go, okay. And now his Stork shows up, I'm like, alright, the risk assessment is unacceptable. I am going to back off and wait for my martyr to pop out into the field. So while the Stork is on the right side of the map, there's no reason to push it. No reason to push it. Let's go ahead and rotate to the left side of the map with the 2-2-1. Again, keep it well supported with the snare squad in support in case the Stork will dive you. Bringing the engineers on over. I will get a minesweeper on one of these guys. Yep, this one right here. I'm going to run into a space. Now you're asking yourself, why am I running into a space? We just saw a Stork. I don't feel I don't feel unconfident in this engagement because the Grenadiers are in support. So even if he snares me, I will snare him. I will rush the 2-2-1 out. And the Stork was all the way on the right side of the map. It will take him a while to get over here. Putting the mines down. This is what I'm arguing with the Wehrmacht faction. Play them like Code 2 Soviets. And then as soon as you get your power play units, you don't really have to play them as Code 2 Soviets. Because now I have a double set of snare mines ready to go for the Stork. I feel, again, like I can go ahead and reach out and I'm not stressed. Middle of the map, I have a Jaeger and a Grenadier squad supporting the Martyr. So if the Stork gets around me, I can pop a snare, I can get out of dodge, I have an additional Grenadier in support on the left side, I have time. I notice that the Stork is at the top of the map, I'm going to go ahead and move the Martyr in. I'm going to use the sight the main gun ability that a lot of players seem to not do. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and focus these infantry sections with my A-move units. There's negative cover for both of us or no cover, so I'm going to win that. Sight the main gun misses the first shot, but look at that maximum range, and people tell me the Martyr's ineffective! You're insane! This thing's amazing! I do pay for the veterancy 1 on the unit. It was unnecessary in my opinion, but I just wanted to guarantee the success with the Jaegers in the early game, and I should have been merging even more. Now, I will go ahead and move the Bernie boys up down the middle and get some flame and war crimes going. How you like napalm? And he backs out of the building, rightfully so. Boys anti-tank rifles on the infantry section. An ineffective squad at this point. Now activating the burn on the engineers, but I'm in more cover clumped together, so I will back out. I was going to take this building, and then I was like, that's a bad idea. So I'll focus on the right side of the map and get some burn damage from the boys anti-tank section. I should have merged. Bad play or bad call on my part. I'm backing off. His flamethrowers are, doing better than mine, so I'm going to go ahead and rush around and bring it back here on the background. Left side of the map, I noticed that engineers are going to get into the building with the 2-2-1 in. I do have his minesweeper is detecting my mines, excuse me. But I do have an additional flamethrower squad, and he's clumped up in the church, so I'm going to burn him out, baby! Now, Stork comes across. Tactical pause. I don't think this is right. This is a sight blocker, but the only reason why I got the snare is because this unit had visual, and I was able to put a shot through the bush. I do not think that that's okay for any faction to do, because this is a sight blocker, right? So there's no way that my unit could be able to, shoot through the bush and magically aim at the Stork, but that is what it is. So I do get a snare. And yeah, I do try to go for a max range shot, but unfortunately he does pop the smoke ability and he is out of range. Backing up the low grenadier. Manpower conservation again should be merging right now. But because I have such a good manpower float, I will go ahead and tech in 2 Panzer Grenadiers. Once you get a P-Gren squad out into the field, you're going to win everything. Jaegers. I should have had 2 squad of Jaegers, but I said I want more up close, in your face, personal squads that are very powerful and heavily armored. So coming out of base, getting a model return each time, looking good. This guy's, I love these little medics. He's like, yeah, I would find Sabatis and you would get to return on your investment. 221, moving to the right side of the map. I do feel comfortable with that because, again, we have supporting squads in the background. 221 wrapping around, giving a little reach around, going, hey, buddy, let me tell you about National Socialism. Now, shooting him in the face, look at that model damage. Heavy model bleeds. We're on veterancy 1. That's with a loop off of training, but we're on 7 kills with this thing, so we're getting a nice little return on this. Again, an additional model drop. Now, what am I looking? I'm looking forward across the map while I'm chasing him down, because what does that tell me? There's a Stork coming my way. We gotta back out with the Martyr in support. Stork's gonna dive. Grenadier's moving in for the snare. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the shot. I'm gonna hit him, smack him in the face, and he's gonna back out. Now, there's always the risk of an additional Stork coming onto the field, so that's why I'm playing heavily into the support. We're moving in with combined arms with these units. Engineers repairing the front line. These guys are so cheap, even if I take a shot, no big deal. And, again, 221, moving in, providing necessary sight for my unit. Left side of the map, I've lost a bit of control, but no big deal. My rust is showing. I should have been, as soon as this repair is done, rotating these engineers up top, getting more mines down, and getting the necessary muni points. It's a bit of a track, but it's worth it every step of the way.
Our enemy has the advantage. We must
Now,
stop them.
I noticed the boys anti-tank squad in the middle of the map, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate the Jaegers with the engineers, and we're going to go ahead and focus down here on the point and get into his face once
Sectors are
again.
isolated. We have been cut off.
Devastating damage. Engineer squad, no big deal. I don't really care about that. It's going to do no damage to me, really. And we're going to go ahead and bring it around. I said the Stork could be coming across. There's the thing. He disabled my mine, so we're not going to risk it. Again, our Grenadiers in support in the background. He will take a pot shot into me, but I get out of dodge. No big deal. Martyr's going to hold mid. I said maybe there's an additional tank coming at this point in the game. I don't really want to just give up map control in the center just yet. But this is what I'm talking about. We're playing into the hands. We have the Grenadiers floating on top of this vehicle. We have so many engineers I can constantly repair. I'm not strapped or clapped for time. And we're just devastating them every step of the way. First squad of P-Grens onto the field. I could have went for an additional one, but for 340 manpower, this squad is better than airborne USFs in almost every way, I would argue. I don't even use the automatic fire ability for majority of the match. I haven't selected a commander yet, because I said there's so many fucking options at my disposal. There's so many options. I'm going to go ahead and take the building on one additional site. I noticed that mines are trying to go down. He does take it, but don't worry. For 25 units, we can force him out of the building. We're moving the anti-tank squad onto the field. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the mine map prep. This was risky. He could have noticed the mine going down, but he does not, and this comes in handy in the future. Right to the map. I'm going to go ahead and kill the Stork. Sight the main gun ability with the Jaegers in support. He does pop smoke, but don't worry. I get the shot. Now, people tell me the Martyr is not good. Stop lying to me. Don't lie to me, because I veteran C2, 25% rate of fire, 25% weapon accuracy. This thing is a solid vehicle if you play to its advantages. And first strike bonus, 25% damage when out of combat, 50% weapon penetration and accuracy on the first shot. If you are not playing to this vehicle's advantages, that's on you. Now, we missed it. I do get a wipe on the engineer squad with the 221. You can rewind the video, but you can see it. And we mow him down. Oh, fantastic, cotastic. Mines are prepped. Remember, when you put a mine down, move your engineer squad, because if you leave the engineer squad, more than likely they'll clump together, giving an indication that you put a mine down. We want these guys to get maximum effectiveness. Now, I do take a shot from the Artie. I'm going to go ahead and move the P-Grens up, 221 in the background. We did tech into radio antenna. Why is this powerful? From here all the way to here, as the radio pulse peaks out, I can see everything, and it gives me a little bit of a heads up on what's coming my way. That is why it's incredibly powerful. And at the same time, while you're pulsating, you're vibrating, oscillating, jiggling. We're gonna, we put ourselves in a risk. You can be seen across the map and you can't close the distance. Now, engineers, I shouldn't have been engaging this, but I had the 221 in the background. I'm just kind of cock blocking it. 2-2-1 opening up again, but because we're well supported, we have a snare squad in the background, I'm going to go ahead and just, do some damage to him. Grenadier nades are better than allied nades, in my personal opinion. For 30 minis, you can force him out of cover. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I can throw a nade, he can't, he has to rifle nade me. And he does not dodge, and we get a massive amount of bleed damage onto them, basically guaranteeing this fight and forcing the high damage unit off to the field. Voice anti-tank rifles moving in. Even he takes a shot at me. No big deal. I do lose a Pioneer squad. Very bad move. Centaur, get out. Get out, get out, get out. I am blobbing. I am trying to show you what my typical matches is as an allied player. I usually deal with A-move blobs, and that's what I'm going to be showing you. But because we prepped the map, we got a mine here, and Martyr in support, with P-Grins moving up as bait. I'm going to go ahead and take a pot shot in to the Centaur. Now, tactical pause. If the Centaur gets around you, you will lose your Martyr. That's why you need to keep the Martyr at max range, keep it well supported as I'm moving, or I will be moving units out of base. But do not let him get around you, because we will see some damage from the Centaur. Now, mine detonation. Let's go ahead and close the gap. I know I said keep the distance, but because he's injured crit, this thing's slow as hell. Boom! Big shot. Now look at that return damage. That's about a fourth of the health. We do not want to eat that when it's unnecessary. But, again, efficiency 2, rate of fire, weapon accuracy. You can't really tell me lame as fuck with the Martyr, sir. You did not scoop my mines. You've been seeing me put mines everywhere. That's on you. But because I got the wipe with a 2-2-1 and I eliminated his engineer unit, he can't sweep mines anymore. And I believe that's his second engineer unit that's been lost in the match. So, let's A-move together! This is what I'm fighting. He is trying to hit my medical. He thought I was up here, but I said, no, I'm going to put it back in the comforts of my base. That's why he's barraging me. I was confused at first, I had to rewatch the video. I was like, why is he attacking me? Moving the 2-2-1 in again because we knocked out his tank unit, we knocked out his Stort, and I'm going to win this. Now, watch the 2-2-1 wiping potential. We missed it the first time, but look at that model bleed damage with the A-move blob. Now, around the corner, he's not going to really be able to hit me at max range, but that 2-2-1 is devastating. Look at that wiping! Can't get away from me. Oh! I did risk the snare, but I said, hey, with your tank units get knocked out, you're not going to do it. Yes, all I do is blob. You're right. I am going to blob this match. I am going to blob this match. I'm going to blob this match. I'm going to show everybody what I go up against typically versus the Axis match. If we want to get even more into the nitty-gritty, I was not using slowing fire whatsoever. I should have been putting a mine right here. I ask them why you're mad. I know why you're mad. I'm a disgusting piece of shit right now. I get it. I am blobbing to maximum potentials. Also, with the Jaeger squads, I could pop smokes, back off a point, pop a smoke on the point, and delay the cap even further. So I do put a mine down. There it is. Just heavily delayed on the mine. Now, I noticed the fuel cache. You shouldn't have made that. You could have more infantry units in the field because fuel cache costs about roughly 200 manpower, and I will go ahead and show you that. So that's another infantry squad engineer onto the field that should have been activated. So I'm going to push back, voice anti-tank rifles, but I'm in the comforts of my base, so he can't go any further. P-Grins, Veteran C1, I did not pay for that, and I'm going to get another one because I like winning my engagements. Going to just hug them. When you have a P-Grin squad, they're great at medium to close range, but as they get more veterancy and more accuracy, they do great at long range too. So Crusader onto the field, panic AT option. I'm going to go, oh man, you're damaging me. Let's hit you with a snare. So, Crusader, they can do damage to infantry, but it's no big deal to me. Notice how my blob's not respecting him, and I'm just going to walk away from him. I'm going, eh. But at the same time, there's this unit in the background, so I'm taking my blob and getting ready to rotate it onto that unit, right? Voice anti-tank rifles are bad at 1v1s. You know, with most infantry engagements, basically everything. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate the blob, but because I put a mine down, I didn't even need the blob! Oh, Zeke busting for the fatherland. And let's just go ahead and get more mines down. Now, typically, you don't want to put it on the travel path because that's risky. He did see me. I did not realize how much vision these guys have, so he will detonate my mine. But we want to just put it on the main road because I'm not really utilizing it as much as possible, and he keeps trying to dive me. Again, with his previous high rank, he knows how to play the game, and he's trying to catch my armored units off guard. So, my opponent is teching into... was it foot guards, I believe, or foot guards. They're great at close range, but the problem is for 440 manpower, they're not worth the cost, in my opinion, unless you get them vetted up and they're well supported, versus my P-Grins for 340 manpower, which are better than every way in the foot guards. The foot guards have an anti-tank option, but with only 2 bazookas, they're only really great when you can snare a vehicle, you slow it down, and you can call in a strike or move a tank in. Now, these are where the Brits are going to shine. Unfortunately, even with my 2 units, plucking at him, he's at max range, and I will lose this engagement with the Grenadiers. This is where people argue Grenadiers are bad, right? Because they're only on 8 kills. But what you're supposed to be doing is merging them into these very powerful units like the Peagrin squad. Or the Jaeger squad, which is currently on 12 kills. That's how you're supposed to play Grenadiers. And you can also use their Faust at Veterancy 2 and 3, which has extended range, to catch units off guard. So, here comes the foot guards. But because we have 2 Peagrins, he's closing the distance on my medium range. I'm going to bleed him heavily. He did tech into Recce packages. It's a bit too late for that. But I bled him heavily, so I'm going to go ahead and move the Peagrins across with the Jaegers in support and just focus down these guys right here because they're getting on my nerves. What I should have done, automatic fire. Or max increase rate of fire, maximum 100%, reduces speed by 35%. Basically, it's just a shred me unit kind of thing. Do take a heavy shot from the artillery piece, but no big deal. I have the Peagrins on the high ground at medium range with the Jaegers coming up, so we're good to go. Left side of the map, tank was harassing me. We missed that part. But again, I'm just delaying him. I will lose this engagement, but because we're doing so great on the manpower float compared to my opponent, we can kind of delay it. So I almost lose the Jaegers. They get down to about 7 health on this engagement. And I do get out because, again, Thompson models are not that effective at long range. He only has about 2 Thompson models left and, 2 bazookas. He does hit my mine, again, prepping the map. What does this do to him? Because these units are so expensive to reinforce and they're really not that great, we're keeping him locked in base. Now, I did tech into the 221 Scout Car. Why did I do that? I needed more anti-tank. The Crusader can get around with the foot guards. They can hit me with a bazooka, and we just don't want to risk that. And I do pop an AT gun onto the field. A lot of players don't build AT guns. That's on you. This is an amazing unit. You can put it into camouflage, which gives 25% damage plus 50% penetration. I mean, look at all these goated abilities. The USF AT gun can't do that. So, the Brit AT gun can't do that. And yeah, we're 26 minutes in. My opponent is fighting for his life. I believe that he stayed into the match because he believed with his experience in the game and with me globbing, he could eventually catch me off guard, and I don't blame him. Yeah, Grenadiers could have popped a snare, but I said not worth it. Foot guards moving in, but the Peagrins in support. I'm going to go ahead and walk in there and look at my dirty Axis nade. Let's go ahead and pop that real quick. Get a nice little chunk of bleed damage. He does throw a counter nade onto me, but because I'm a Z-Buster, I receive no models dropped. Only bleed damage. He's attacking the church. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop the Grenadiers out, and we're going to use the frontline mid bags. What does that mean? I suffer no consequences for my bad play. The unit can stay in the center of the map, and I don't have to run back to base for heals compared to my opponent. Middle of the map. Foot guards moving in. Well-supported unit. Doesn't matter. I should have destroyed this cover. But again, the foot guards can't press me. They suffered bleeds. It takes some time to come back out. And, more mines could have been going. I should have put a mine right here. That would have been amazing. I noticed that he is trying to come across eventually. I will put a bunker down to cover that flank. Again, for 175 manpower. I will point out again, my manpower flow is vicious. I could have been doing even more. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tech into KT. I've never made this tank yet. I've only seen the videos. The KT, when I fight it, is pretty overpowered in my opinion. And we're going to show that. But that's up for you to make that decision. I'm not going to keep forcing that down your throat. So, Peagrin's receiving fire, medium cover, and, these guys are armored units. I'm, again, not stressing. Moving in the Martyr, max range. Doesn't matter if I'm low health because the unit is well supported with the AT guns in the background. And I'll probably put on a max range shot eventually. Left side of the map, Peagrins are going to go ahead and try to get a nuke and nade. I call it a nuke and nade because look at that last range. He backs out, respects the nade, and he's good to go. Crusader moving in. For some reason, sometimes it was getting some nasty shots into me. I will most likely retreat the Peagrins because as he takes the building, I'm like, alright, we've lost this engagement, time to back out. And just waiting for it, right side of the map. Foot guards pushing me. There's the Panzer Grenadiers retreating. My other Peagrin squad moving in. And I have lost this engagement. Throwing an additional nuke nade. He does dodge it, respects the nade, and, credit to him. So Martyr should have been rotating on this, but I'm holding the house. Foot guards throw a nade. I jump out of the house. He throws it over the house. Great nade from my opponent. And he does exactly what he needed to do, which is force me out. But, again, I don't really suffer from that because I've only suffered bleed damage, but really no model drops. Foot guards moving in. What does he want to do? He's trying to activate the foot guard ability, which stuns the vehicle and allows the Crusader to move in and knocks out both of these guys. I'm like, I'm not taking the bait, I'm not falling out, and he's giving me an indication of his next attack angle. And I said, because that flank is open, I don't feel comfortable. Now, I could have been even more devastating. I tech into the heavy tank core. I could have popped this Tiger out even sooner. But because my rust is showing, I said, okay, I can wait for the tech. According to the KD ratio, I am down in the count. According to the BPs, I am down in the count. In my personal experience and preference, I felt no struggle whatsoever. Because you've seen these engagements, you've seen the map control, you've seen the unit veterancy, I'm playing to the strengths, and again, even though I am rusty with this faction and I could have been doing even more, I did not feel panicked. And I'm popping med bags on the move, right? I can get this healing out of base while it's going on. Med bags are kicking in. So all these units are blocked together. I'm just going to A move. And this is what I've been fighting. A move, A move, A move. Well, he could have made an MG to counter it for the Axis players. I can pop smoke and get out of the MG situation. It's basically useless. Oh, KT onto the field. I lied. I did pop the KT. I don't know what I was talking about. My bad. So anyways, KT onto the field, but I guess I was referring to earlier that I could have had it out. So, you know, KT out. I noticed that the Brit player went Matilda 2 heavy tank. Respect the Matilda 2 heavy tank. This is an infantry killing machine in every sense of the word. If your units are blobbed together, you will suffer. So I will respect it. I will back out. But because I have a Martyr, Veterancy 2, almost a Veterancy 3, with an AT gun that as soon as it hits Vets 1, I can, you know, put it in the ambush cover. Or I can back tech if I want to right now. And, you know, a blinding shot ability that I could have been using on the scout car. I'm not stressed whatsoever. Tiger is going to hold the flank. I'm being cautious of the foot guards. I don't want him to get around me because he does have a Crusader in the background. And when you see one Crusader, most people are going 2 Crusaders. Okay, 2-2-1. He was trying to attempt to, you know, stun shot me. It does not activate. I move the Tiger back, keeping my front armor onto the, you know, foot guards. Now look at that shot from the Tiger. Massive shot on with the Tiger. And this is what I'm talking about. The Tiger has no model caps, right? Most tanks have hit about 4 models. This thing hits the entire cluster, one-shots it basically, and the Jaegers are going to go ahead and clean it up on retreat. This is not fair to fight against, in my opinion. If I'm getting a one-shot machine, what can he do to stop me? Well, he can use the anti-tank loiter squad. I just killed the anti-tank unit in one shot. The best bet is Matilda. Oh, well, he'll just go 17-pounder. I'll show you what happens if you go 17-pounder against me. We'll show you what happens when you go 17-pounder. Do not argue with me on this. All right, so opening up with the Martyr 3. Again, I'll activate the siege mode, or set the main gun, excuse me. And look at that range, max shot, even if he pops a smoke, AT gun with the Martyr in combo, cleans it up. This is what I'm talking about. Keep your units supported. Now I have the ambush ability. Get the kill on the Matilda. So the only counter that could keep my Tiger distracted is now gone. I could have pushed it even more. I could have upgraded the Panzer Officer quarters, which would stack with the Tiger, giving me a 15% weapon traverse speed. But again, I'm rusty. I'm not playing at my maximum potential. There's so much more I could be doing, and that's wrong in my opinion. I remember he's trying to flank around me. I do get the bunker down, trying to get a second one. He does notice it. I will cancel, and then I will rebuild it in the future because he is hitting me with an effect. Is very effective in 1 howitzer gun on 10 kills. He is playing this weapon to its advantage. He is annoying me with it. So, planes do pop. I will tech in the Neville Warfare. This is very bad for me. When these planes pop, they will kill you. With this infantry... And an additional wipe with the Tiger! What I was going to say, if his infantry squad closes in the gap on my very slow Tiger, it will destroy me. It will destroy me. But because the Tiger's a Zeke-busting machine... Ah! You can't do anything to me. I'll just wipe you with 1 shot. I don't think that's fair. The Tiger should be powerful, yes, but I shouldn't just be one-shotting everything like nobody's business. Consistently, I will add. His models were clumped together. I mean, geez Louise. The other counterpoint that I hear in this game is, oh, well, if you let them get the KT, you deserve to lose. How is he letting me get the KT? I am technically behind on the KD ratio. I'm technically, you know, we're neck and neck on the VPs at this point. I'm not playing the way I should be. This is not right. And with my engineer squads that I invested in the early game, I can instantly repair the Tiger, bring it back out. And then I'm going to tech in a Neville Warfare. Or Whirlwind, excuse me. And shoot it down. Or I could have went with the Flak 30 anti-tank cannon, which is not as effective, but I can do that. Now the base rape is coming into play. A lot of co-players like the base rape for no reason. You know, you guys think that you got it on lock. I fought a guy who made double Panthers in a different match. But why am I not moving the Peagrams? He's focused on my medical. I'm more focused on the front line engagement with my A move blob moving in and my martyr support and AT support. So I said, okay, fine, have your base rape. We'll come around and deal with you later. Get the kill on the Crusader, and now I'm going to focus on the center of the map, get a shot with the Tiger. Unfortunately, I was denied my Zeke bus. There's my Zeke bus. And I'm just A moving. I wanted to go further with the Tiger, but I said, hey, he could have mines down, learn from his mistake. He is attacking my Peagrams. I've been ignoring this. I will move the Peagrams around the building, and he's going to try to, you know, he will destroy my Panzer Company. And I'll help him do it by accident. But again, no big deal. The Crusader is not that, you know, it's not making me nervous. I'm just going to keep ringing around the rosy with that. Right side of the map is putting pressure with the Grenadiers. Moving the Tiger, and as we sneak in. Now watch this. This was an attack ground, by the way. But, you know, you're going, hey, that's green cover, reduce damage. No, not in this universe. Oh! Oh, man. Again, third wipe. I'm moving in my 2-2-1. Pause. What I should have done is blinding shot activate, which removes the vision, and let's see, what does it do? Disable weapons, right? And I had this on siege mode. This is actually killing my base by accident. I thought it was hitting his tank. What I should have done is that, but I don't. So I lose the Vet 3 unit unnecessarily. This is very stupid on my part, but again, I don't need this vehicle.
We have lost the
It got about roughly 20 kills during this match. It paid for itself in gold, and he has successfully harassed him. So middle of the map is already pieces, you know, overextending. He's trying to put pot shots in my base. He does kill my building. I don't need it anymore because I've got the best tank in the game. I wasn't going to go Panzer IV anyways. I'm going Whirlwind next to fight his planes, and the Tiger's so damn slow that he gets away. That's the only thing I can complain about the Tiger. It's just incredibly slow. It doesn't get any speed bonuses either, so again, no big deal. I do kill his vehicle. I bring this guy in, the Martyr Anti-Tanks Destroyer. We eliminated that. So because he keeps trying to flank me and he keeps trying to get around, I go, okay, let's just put mines on this point. He's not going to get around anymore. Once a base raper, always a base raper. He's going to come back in and try to get that Zeke penetration on you. Now, fuel cache getting on my nerves. I'm tired of his armor coming out nonstop. I'm going to go ahead and delete it and yeet it. Grenadiers middle of the map, getting cap on the fuel. Again, getting these mines down. If you're going to try to base rape me, I'm going to assume you're coming back for the base rape. That is what it's called. If you're offended by that, go talk to your therapist, because I don't fucking care. Anyways, I get killed by the foot guards. I overstayed my welcome. Foot guards deadly in close range. Grenadiers are squishy when foot guards come around, and, you know, I lose it. Bad move on my part. But this is my only second squad wipe in one vehicle lost in the game, and the vehicle that I lost was only 30, only 30 fuel, so compared to his 5. Okay, Grenadiers are low. I noticed a bishop. I caught a glimpse of that somehow, some way, and I said, okay, if you have a bishop on the field, this is very bad for you. Open up the Tiger. I do miss because the Tiger is moving, so less accuracy. Bringing the Tiger around, he respects the Tiger finally and backs out. And I agree. He was not a fan of the KT one-shotting units. You know, when you're talking crap, he's like, not mad, observing reality. And I'm like, all right, you know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Tiger backing out. Remember, keep your frontal armor front. Rotate that Tiger back into the safe arms of your support center. And if he snares me, no big deal, and that's exactly what he was going for. Again, I prevented the snare. He pops planes. I have Whirlwind ready to go, and AA will click on. And I'll move it closer because, again, the Whirlwind is affected the closer they get to the planes, and sometimes with this game, they will miss the planes. I don't know. It's just a bug. So, right to the map. Let's get the cap finally. If he shoots me, I'm really not concerned because I do have the Nebel Warfare. Now, this is very dangerous. I could be taking, damage. Oh, sorry, at Veterans C2, I no longer take damage, so I guess that's not a thing anymore. I guess that's not a thing anymore. I can literally frontline repair, and at Veterans C2, I no longer get bonus damage. That's disgusting. He hits my mine. I said, not again. We're not doing this again. You're not going to come to my base and kill me. I do have a mine right here. This is a very dangerous situation, but I'm letting him focus my engineers while I get an additional snare onto him, which allows my martyr to creep around the backside and put rounds into him. But yeah, he's trying to kill my infantry company. I don't need it because I have a Tiger, because the Tiger kills everything. And I have 92 population count. Oh man, I think when the Tiger pops, let's see, what's it called? We'll look at it in a second, I'll read it. So yeah, again, he's killing it with the Vet 3 Martyr with plus 25% rate of fire. What is it? Reduces fuel income by 25%. That's it.
Commandant, we have surplus munitions to spend.
But yeah, he's attacking my base again. Second tank right on top of each other. Vehicle rack, we missed the explosion. Dead. But yeah. I wish I could show you the funny recording, but I guess this would be the So, Jaeger's opening up on the right side of the map, moving the Tiger in, creeping in like a gazelle in the bush, and I'm going to attack round through the bush. Unfortunately, the game decided to give me a high damage roll. I mean, look at that!
We are down to 200 points.
But that scared the little guy enough. Grenadiers in support. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pop the med bags. Again, no consequences suffered from my actions because I do have free heals. I could have put an additional bunker in my base, getting the heals back. I said not necessary. We're in control of this match. Even though I'm technically down on the KD ratio, folks. I mean, it's not a threat to me. Now, here it comes. Why don't you just make a 17-pounder? Why don't you just make a 17-pounder as Brits? Well, Relic in their infinite wisdom decided to give this faction not only a KT, I should have been using propaganda leaflets, but the ability to destroy 17-pounders with no issue whatsoever. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't want his bazooka. It's disgusting. It's weak. And yeah, I don't care for it. That's what you're asking. Bunker defense is ready to go, so not only do I have the mines to cover it and bunkers set up to stop his foot guards, we're just going to continuously keep shoring up the flanks, making sure he can't rush through. A-move blob, look at that damage while A-moving. You can't stop me, you can't co-stop me. A-move, 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 A-move. Everywhere I go is A-move and blob because there's no punishment. Right side of the map, Tiger gets an additional kill. We missed it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick up his Brent because that is actually worth my time and it gives my Grenadiers a little bit more combat effectiveness. Yeah. Oh, I caught a glimpse of that. What does that tell me? 17-pounder onto the field. I'm going to go ahead and rush tech into V1 rocket strikes, but look at the snare range on these Grenadiers. It is absolutely broken. And watch that. Whoa, my goodness. So because that is snared, I haven't seen an engineer unit. I'm going to go ahead, grab the V1 rocket. There we go. Now let's put 2 and 2 together. Get these calculators going. Activate the math. Now, as the V1 rocket approaches, remember that the fatherland is great in every way. Make sure to look out for ghetto people in the alleyway and observe the Z-Tensho. Oh! Oh! Whoa! Yeah.
Territory lost.
I could be doing so much more. I could be A-moving my blob. I don't want to. Tiger. I mean, this was the only thing that could counter me. Now, I believe you can return the vehicle that he is engine crit and get a return on the fuel and manpower cost to get an additional 17-pounder in the field. But because he has no infantry, no way to fight me, nothing going on, even though I mean, basically it's over. Foot guards, I'm coming across again with the Zeke blob, activating my ability. This time. Yeah, so it is up to you to decide whether that was a fair match or not. I did have more map control than my opponent, yes, but my problem is that I really didn't put my units into cover unless they were Grenadiers. I didn't play as efficiently as I should. I did not use the abilities as efficiently as I should. And according to this graph, we were even Steven on everything. I disagree with this. So next up... Yeah, I mean, you know. So next up, we're going to go ahead and focus on this post by AECOH. Where are you? Screenshot. So AECOH, again, you're one of the people that got me into the co-competitive scene. I watched your 2v2s back in COVID time, 2020, 2021, and it really wanted me, it made me want to improve as a player. I was like, dude, your posts are amazing. Like, I'm having a great time. So I'll get into it more, but this frustrated me. You can't make this post and say, USF is OP, and I feel like you only say that because Ray is dominating the 1v1s in every tournament. If Ray is that much of a threat, just give him a Yay Me trophy and tell you, hey man, you're just too good, don't play the game. Because I don't care that one person can dominate everybody in the KO2 tournament. That's not my thing. I want to see somebody else get in there. If one person is better than everybody else, remove him from the board and let the others compete. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. If Ray is that much of a problem, because when you write that 1600 elo plus, fine, I understand because those are the higher skill players, yada yada yada. But according to this game, that guy used to be a 1600 elo player. I've beaten 1600 elo players, and my personal opinion, it's easier to play Axis. But you write That said, that does not validate. That does further validate OP's claim that USF are OP, which, by the way, is what I've maintained as a core design issue of company years 3 to 4 years now. Into the betas and alphas. I did not play the alpha. I did play the beta. It was easier to play as Axis. I stuck with this game when it came out. When it was a beta, I could show you the videos when the game dropped in 2023, and I stuck with it when the game actually released. Sorry, I got family over right now. They probably hear me yelling. They're going, oh! Anyways. I was here when every other player that told every other streamer that told players to buy this game, and they lied and they said that the game was complete, and then they left the game and they went back to Code 2 and you guys did Code 2's tournaments. I stayed, I played, I grinded to the top of the leaderboards in the 2v2 factions. And then I turned around and I started beating tournament level players in the 1v1 factions. When you said USF was OP, and let me just show you the proof of the pudding. Where is this patch notes? All right, patch notes. Back in 2023, right? Remember, guys? Let's scroll down. Verbatim from the devs, we've noticed that the U.S. forces are struggling in all game modes, particularly in large team games. Sorry, my nieces and nephews are killing each other. I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that in a little bit. But, oh my goodness, they're killing each other. Anyways, God, it sounds like trailer park trash. That's why when I come over to visit family, I get nervous when they start yelling. We noticed that the U.S. forces are struggling in all game modes, particularly in large team games. These targeted fixes are to address certain units that are overpowered within the roster, reduce tech cost, but my point is that the devs wrote U.S. forces. We've noticed that the U.S. forces are struggling in all game modes. I am telling you, as somebody who has stayed with this game, who was there when the player count dropped to 400 people, right? And we were waiting. Me and my buddy who were playing, we don't play anymore, but I still love the guy. We were waiting 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours for a 2v2 match to play Axis and only 5 minutes as allies because nobody wanted to play allies. If the devs write that US forces are struggling, and then below that, underpowered, and then you make a post in the co-forums, right? Going, oh, by the way, USF has always been OP. You're lying to me. The only OP thing was airborne because you could pop smoke nades onto the point, but I beat Dexon when he did that to me because it only took me 3 matches to learn how to counteract that. And then his, what's it called? Then his Pathfinders were useless. You can't tell me USF has always been OP. USF was not a good faction at launch. It was not a fun faction to play in the 2v2s right now. And yeah, it's weird for me. You frustrate me. I respect you, but you frustrate me. Because in the past, you have also admitted that you're more preference to Axis. Overall, you do make it was a post in Code 2, and it's just like, dude, you can't, you go into the co-forums, you're a moderator, and you're like, oh yeah, USF is just OP. What do you want? Brits are not in a good position right now. You cannot just focus on the one guy who's amazing at this game. If a guy's a fucking supercomputer, if Ray's a South Korean supercomputer from the land that loves RTS and they just dominate everybody and he's good at the game, fuck, he's just good at the game. He's that anomaly. But when I play Brits, when I try to get my friends over to play Brits, they don't have a fun time. Because why do I want to lose every engagement? You make the determination in this video, but did it look like I was putting my units into cover when I got my power play units? Personally, no. In my opinion, I was doing whatever I wanted to. If it's 11 o'clock at night, I'm half awake and I'm just laughing going, oh, dude, I'm just going to win every engagement, bro. Oh, look at my Pegrins. And my Tiger goes, oh, you know what? I'm just going to fucking one-shot you because I'm the fucking Tiger. And then somebody in the co-forums goes, you shouldn't have never let him get to Tiger. If you can't give me any counterplay to this unit, how is that fair? And then you give me a V1 rocket ability. And then I could have been doing so much more. But my overall point is, you make this post and it just feels so disingenuous, right? USF is the problem. USF is the problem. Because I see videos of them blobbing. Dude, what other unit other than Rifleman can I make as a USF player? Tell me right now. I don't have foot guards as a USF player. I don't have a P-Grin alternative. I don't have a Grenadier alternative. If you want it to be truly fair in that department, make Riflemen like Grenadiers, but give me some kind of power unit. Bring over the commando squads. Make them 340 manpower. Let me dominate P-Grins. Because every time I see a P-Grin pop into the field, if I don't have a Greyhound or a Humber, I have lost that engagement. I am dealing with A-move blobbers everywhere I go. And I A-moved on a used to be 1600 ELO player. That's where I'm coming from. I was here when all of you left this game because I gave it a chance. I said I wasted $60. I was bored and I was tired of every person. You got to be the top level player in the world to make an opinion. Well, if I'm able to beat top level players like Pie Eater, Dexon, Zulu, Twisted Tootsie used to be in this game. Fucking. There's some Asian guy that I used to beat. He was a 2v2 player. He's popular in the code community. I forgot his name. But basically, I've beaten these people who you set the bar as good. What does that make me? Oh, you're just lucky. I have. It's not consistent because I suffer brain damage from my military service, so sometimes I'm in it, sometimes I'm not. But when I do snap back to reality and I can play as fast as these guys, I can hold it down. Oh, Ackerman. I've beaten Ackerman like 3 times. I've got him twice in Code 2. He's a rank 22 player in Code 2. I think he's top of the leaderboard in Code 3. I've beaten him in Code 3 as well. But my point is that my personal opinion, it's just easy to play Wehrmacht at this point in the game. I have these very strong units. I have these super heavy tanks that I don't have to go into. And my only counter is an anti-tank gun where the pathing is messed up on the vehicle. And I can make a Nebelwerfer to counter it. I don't even need Doctrinal Arty to counter the vehicle. But yeah, there's more I want to say about it, but there's, I could go on ranting forever. If USF is the problem, then why don't you guys do this at Relic Studios? Why don't you go back to the drawing board and go, hey, if we want to retain these players, why don't we go ahead and take Dak off the board and Brits off the board, and we're going to focus our balance on the 2 most popular factions, which is USF and Wehrmacht. We work with these units until we get a quality product. And you know what? That might hurt and piss off some players because they're losing, the Brits and the Dak. But overall, for the longevity of the game, you are probably going to make more money. Because what I keep seeing is you do these commanders, you rush them out, they're super powerful, then you get the nerfs going, like every other fucking game in the world, like what Call of Duty does. I don't play that anymore. But you purposely make these overpowered commanders, they're frustrating to deal with. And you get your money, and then you fix it, quotation marks, and then you do it again. You do it again, you do it again, and all these people keep buying the commanders. And I gotta buy the commanders because I want to see how bad it is, and I can laugh about it. But yeah, you make your determination on this video. My overall point is if I can take 5 months off of the faction, I should have to relearn the faction, and I should be losing, instead of doing the same typical builds that I did 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago when this game launched. But the issue is that I don't do that. I just win. I play to my advantages because I played Code 2 conscripts. I still do. And I know that they're squishy. But as soon as I get my power unit, I can play the game like Company of Heroes 2 OKW and run into you and A-move you to death. But that's it. GG, well played. Maybe, we can have a topic about it. Or you can just say, you know what, fuck you, I'm an Axis main and I love Hitler. Or you can do that. But GG to my opponent. I was a mover, and I feel disgusting. I'm going to go take a second shower after doing the split because I feel like a dirty animal. GG, well played.